Um, Hello, everyone. Good evening and good morning. Thanks for taking your time for attending this webinar. Just a little background about our community, right? So we have been doing this community activity for quite some time, and we frequently organize webinars, and we also help other folks in the community on the technical questions or any kind of questions related to the platform. And also we frequently write the blog, and we have a couple of WhatsApp groups and frequently answer and help other folks in the community with their questions, technical or anything else, right? So it's one objective of started this community, like just want to help others and also grow as part of the community, right? That's the main intention of this. So as we all know that every 2 weeks once we conduct a webinar, right? And so far it has been very successful. A lot of other folks in the community, they come forward and help everyone to gain some knowledge, right? Coming back on today's speaker, we have Bruny, right? So he's going to talk about how efficiently we can integrate CRM platform with other ERP tools, and how we can use Scribe as a ETL tool, and a bidirectional integration between CRM, and also a real-time use case. Hope this will be a wonderful session. Bruny, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Faraz. All right, guys, thank you for joining. Again, my name is Bruny, as Faraz mentioned. So I've been using CRM for the past 5-7 years, and my role is more functional and technical. So I do pretty much both. Pretty much on the functional side, I help companies, gathering requirements and then translate that into the technical parts. So make sure the system is built properly so it can pretty much like fix their business challenges, help them with their business challenges. All right. So basically, I'm just gonna go over, integration in CRM. How can you integrate Dynamics 365 with any ERP system? So, I've worked with Dynamic GP, Great Plans, as an ERP system, and SAP. So again, it's just gonna be a quick overview. It's just gonna be a short one, but very informational. And if you have any questions at the end, please feel free to ask any question that you may have. All right. So, what is a system integration? A system integration is the process of sharing data, sending and receiving between applications. So an integration tool is used to link these applications together. So basically, you can have a CRM system and then an ERP system connecting between each other. So you're sending data from the CRM to that ERP, and that ERP is sending data to that CRM. So basically, they're talking to each other. So that's the idea. As I said, it is a very critical process for a business. There's a lot of process in place, business process in place, so it should be done correctly. Now, that's why there's a lot of consultant. You might be an expert in Dynamics 365 CRM or any ERP system, but the integration piece of it, you might not have no idea how it works. You might have an understanding how it works, but you cannot set it up. So that's why you should call an expert in integration. Whatever integration tool that you choose to use, you should call an expert so they can help you out, so you can put it together, because it's a very critical process. Now, some of the common integration tools are Scribe Online, which I use personally, and I've heard a lot about the Kingsway Soft, which is another integration tool. All right. Why integrating Dynamics 365 with your ERP system? So the main idea is to make ERP data available in Dynamics 365. Now, there are many reasons companies will want to push data to their Dynamics 365 system. Hello?
Bruny, sorry to interrupt you. So are you presenting something?
I am. You cannot see my screen?
I can see your screen, but not any slides or anything.
Oh, interesting. So which screen can you see right now?
You can see your Google screen.
Oh, no, I'm sharing. Hold on a second. Let me stop sharing. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let me end the slideshow. Let me start over. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Let's do a quick recap. So that's the first screen I was talking about. What is a system integration? Again, as I said, the system integration is a process of sharing data, sending or receiving data between applications. So you can have an integration between a CRM system and an ERP system, or you can have it between different other systems. For example, some people have it with their warehouse management software and their ERP system. So you can use it to do a lot of things. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is mostly Dynamics 365 and ERP. So, as I was saying, it is a very critical process. I mean, for business processes, I mean, you need to make sure you work with somebody that knows how integration works and work with the experts so you can put something together in place and do it correctly. Now, some of the integration tools that I know of that I've used in the past are Scribe Online, which I'm currently using right now, which is really great. I really recommend that tool. And King's Soft, which is another integration tool that I use a lot. All right. Why integrating Dynamics 365 with your ERP system? So the main idea is to make ERP data available in Dynamics 365. So that's the main idea. So, and vice versa. So there are many reasons company would want to do that. So the first reasons that I've seen it is really common is data visibility in Dynamics 365 for a group of users. So some business model, they have sales rep, but those sales rep, they're independent, meaning there's certain information they're not supposed to see in their ERP system. So basically, you can pretty much like build an integration so you can grab certain data in your ERP system and make it available to CRM for those sales reps. That way you limit exactly what they can see and cannot see. All right. The second reason is cost saving. So everybody of you knows how expensive ERP license could be compared to Dynamics 365 license. So that's another reason why people can choose to have a CRM or have a Dynamics 365 environment and give people access to that environment and grabbing data from their ERP system and make it available in that Dynamics 365 environment. So cost saving is very important because as you can see, I'm pretty sure all of you knows a Dynamics 365 license runs about like $100 a month, but depends on the ERP system, the license can be in the thousands of dollars, which is very, very expensive. And last, finally, it's system automation. Now, you can sync data directly from Dynamics 365 to your ERP system and vice versa. So being able to automate certain processes are some of the reasons that you would want to have integration between your two systems. All right. Common Dynamics 365 entities integrated. So what entities can you integrate or that are most common in the integration? So usually transactional data and customers are the most common record type I've seen integrated. So what I mean by transactional data, I mean quotes, orders, invoices, and customers, obviously accounts. Now for the quotes, so basically you can have your sales rep creating quote in Dynamics 365, and then those quotes will be sent to your ERP system, especially if you use your ERP system to process those quotes, convert them into an order. So that would be the way to go. So basically all your sales rep or whoever's using CRM or Dynamics 365, create the record in Dynamics 365, and once it's ready to be sent, they just click a button in Dynamics 365, however you want to put the process in CRM, and then it will go directly to your ERP system. So that will be done through the integration, and there is a map that we'll be creating for that to trigger that, and that's something that I'll show you guys. I'll pretty much go over that with you in a few minutes. Also, orders. Now, if everything resides in your ERP system, so it will be a back integration, meaning like instead of sending data from CRM to your ERP system, you will be doing the other way around. So you will be sending data from your ERP to Dynamics 365. And that will go the same way for invoices and account, which is customers. So it all depends on where the data reside and how you want the data to flow back and forward. So if the data reside in your ERP, you want it to be available in CRM, you will build that integration that way. If it's reside in CRM, you want to make it available to your ERP system, you will build that integration that way. So there's multiple scenarios. It matters of your business process, your business model, and obviously you're gonna have to talk to the stakeholders, the business managers, to know exactly how the business works, to understand the business model, and then based on that, you'll be able to put something together. All right. Now, Scribe. So today we're just going to be focusing on Scribe, what it does and how it works. So Scribe is one of the most common integration tool out there for CRM. So that's what I've used, and I've been using it for the past few years, and it is very useful. There's no complaint about it at all. Now, solutions in Scribe. So the way you will build that is based on solutions. So as you can see in that screenshot, so we have 4 solutions built out right there. So the first solution is for quotes. It's Dynamics 365 quotes to your ERP quotes. So what that will do, that will, any data, any quote that you have in CRM or Dynamics 365 will flow back to ERP, to your ERP system. So basically we'll sync everything to the ERP system so it can be available in that ERP system. Now the second one is ERP customers to Dynamics 365 accounts. Same thing. So you'll have your data map built out so you can grab every single data from your ERP system related to customers and make it available to Dynamics 365. So you have another one for ERP invoices, you have another one for ERP orders. So you can make these records available in Dynamics 365. So again, it's the way you want to build the logic. So it doesn't have to be that way. So again, you have to understand the business model so you can build out the solution correctly so it can work for your business. All right. So obviously the agent at the bottom, so that's the agent you will be installed on the server where the data reside. For example, if you have an ERP system, so you might want to install that agent on that ERP server so you can grab the data properly. So there should be connection running between that ERP system and the CRM system. All right. And same thing for connection. So you'll have to create some connections that will be tied to the SQL server on that ERP system. So that's something that is really important because without that, you are not going to be able to grab the data and get access to the proper fields so you can map everything correctly. So that's really important. Now, for each solution, so you can have one or multiple maps. So it depends on how you want to segment the data. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So you understand exactly what is a map. All right, which is our next slide. Now, Scribe integration map. So here I have an example of a Scribe integration map. What is a map? So the definition I have right there is the Scribe definition. So a map is a visual representation of the instructions needed to integrate your data. It helps you retrieve and manipulate your data. So what you are looking right now, it is a map in Scribe just for customers. It is a simple query. So I'm just going to go over it for you real quick so you will have a better understanding of how that works. So you have control, which is all the blue blocks right there. And then you have your connection control blocks, which is SQL, which is the ERP system. And then all the way at the bottom, you have CRM production, which is the Dynamics 365. So what that does, so the first block where it says query customers, so basically you are querying customers in your SQL database in your ERP system. And then you add another block, control, for each result. So you'll be looking based on industry using on the SQL database. And then you jump down to the CRM production where you just do a lookup for the owner, system users, and then you will update each record, and you're gonna keep repeating that process. Again, it is very user-friendly, very straightforward. You don't need to be an expert like in SQL or something like that to understand exactly how it works, all those blocks works. Myself, personally, I'm not an expert in SQL, but I mean, when I started using Scribe, I mean, I found it very user-friendly and very easy to use. So it is a no-brainer. I mean, anybody can pretty much use that. All right. So I have somebody has a question. I think someone just raised their hand. He has a question. Hello. Somebody has a question.
Yeah, we can take the questions at the end. You can continue.
Okay, so I think Go Divada is the one who has a question, so we'll have plenty of time for questions. So as I said, unfortunately my presentation is really short, so most of you are expert in there, so I'm pretty sure you will have a lot of questions. Feel free to ask me any question at the end, so we can talk about it more. All right. So again, that's how easy it is to create a map. Again, this one right there, it's very simple. So basically what we're doing, we're just grabbing data from the ERP system and make them available in CRM. So we're looking for customers, and then we're gonna create the record in CRM based on certain conditions that we have in the middle. Based on industry, we look at the system users, default owners, so all those good stuff, all right? Now, there are certain maps that are very difficult, very long, and there's a lot of conditions, there's a lot of queries. So, I mean, once you get into using Scribe integration, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. But this one that we're looking right now is a very simple one, very straightforward. All right. Now, right now we're looking at some results in Dynamics 365. So basically, as you can see the previous slide, so we created the map. Now, once you rerun the map, so all those records will be created in CRM. So you can run the map on demand or on a specific schedule. So you can run it like every minute, every hour, every week, however you want to run it. Again, it's all based on your business model and your business requirements. So all those records will be created in Dynamics 365, and all the fields selected in the map will be updated accordingly. Now, in the map, so once you put the map together, so you have to select the right fields that should be mapped. So basically, you will match each field, like the ERP field, along with the CRM fields, so you can map them properly. All right. So for example, we're looking right now, the record is created. We have account name, which is test customer. So account name, so is the field in CRM. So in your ERP system, it might be different. It might be customer ID. So you need to make sure you map account name in CRM with customer ID in your ERP system. So same thing for the other field, relationship type. So basically you would have phone number, website, email. So anything that you would like to map, make sure you map it correctly with the right field. So all you see all the way at the bottom are fields that come from the ERP system that you match properly so they can put the correct value in the right field. All right. Okay, so I think that's cover everything in my presentation. It's pretty much going to be very interactive. So any questions you guys may have, please feel free to ask. So we have a lot of time left. We have about 20 minutes. So please feel free to ask any question you may have.
So this is Prabhu. I have a question. So how do we define the dependency between the maps, right? Say I want a map 1 to be executed. Until it gets completed, map 2 should not start, right? So how do we create such a dependency between maps while scheduling them?
All right, so basically, I would say like it's when you're doing the schedule, you have to be very cautious about that because you don't want to run all the map together at the same times. So if you do that, so there's a lot of process running at the same times, which can like stop which can break your CRM system in a way if you want to put it like that. So for example, if you have a map for invoice, a map for order, another map for accounts, so you need to make sure you set the schedule like one after another, not at the same time. For example, you can have account run in the morning at 9 a.m. and then in the middle of the day you have orders runs, and at the end of the day you have invoice. Or if, for example, quote, if you want quote to run every minute, you can do that too. So you have to set some, proper time, so not everybody run at the same times, which is very, very important. Because if everything is running at the same times, that will be a lot of data being processed. It's not gonna be good for your system. There will be a lag, and you might run into some issues.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
This is Suresh here. How to set the agent, Scribe agent? Suppose if we want some data from the non-cloud environment, like on-premise environment, I would say. So like we are setting one Scribe firewall agent. So do you think what I mean when I was trying, so it created some issues. So have you also faced any issues while setting or reading the local data from the on-premise environments?
So we do have. I've dealt with on-prem environment. Right now I have on-prem environment. So in Scribe, once you log into the console, it gives you the ability to download the agent. So basically, you need to make sure you download everything from the console, and then once you download, so I think the best case scenario is like for you to log in on that server, that on-prem server. So you log into it, you log into Scribe from that server, all right, and then you click on agent, you download that agent on that server, and then there's like a code. So you make sure you do that installation directly while you log in on Scribe on that server. So you don't have to pretty much like move the files from a computer to another computer. So that should work fine. And once you install it and you put the proper code that they will give you, that agent should be live and running in your console. So that's how I've done it, and I'm always been successful with it that way. So
okay.
I don't know
and how is the performance in the cloud?
You're talking about the performance, like
data loads.
It's fine, but sometimes it depends on the web browser that you're using. I've seen it like where you're using Chrome, there is some lag, but like if you changed it to like Internet Explorer or Edge, it's better. So it all depends. But me personally, I have a lot of cache because like I deal with Dynamics 365, login with different credentials, stuff like that. So I always have to clear my cache in my web browser. But other than that, it's not that bad.
So what is the number? Have you tested any number? Like for example, why I asked you is like Scribe Insight, it created a lot of performance issues. So like how do you see between we removed or we stopped using Scribe Insight and then start using SSIS with Kingsway Soft because of the performance reason on our environment. Like Scribe was giving around 60,000 records per hour, whereas the same environment, same network, SSIS was giving us around close to 200,000. So that is like a lot of difference there. How do you see, like Scribe online there?
Well, I agree with you. Again, it all depends on what type of record that you're dealing with and how many fields that you're creating. Like quick example. So let's say you're dealing with like a contact record. I mean, the contact record is like first name, last name, phone number, email address. It's very simple, right? That can be processed real quick. We agree, right? But if you're dealing with like a transactional record where you have like line items, for example, order items, details, so you can see all the line transaction, that's a bigger record. Now, 50 of these compared to 50 contacts is like night and day compared to how big they are. You know what I mean? So again, I agree with you. Doing a different way might be a little bit faster, but you also have to take in consideration what type of record that you're syncing back and forth. But I mean, me personally, I mean, I'm fine with the speed. I haven't run into any issues where it's really lagging, stuff like that. Now, the only issue I've run into is like if I try to run two map at the same time. That's the only problem that I've seen. So if I try to run,
can you please come again? What did you say? Map?
So if I try to run at the two map at the same times, for example, let's say I have accounts running and then orders running at the same times, that can create some issue where it's really slow, like processing the records. But if I do it on a schedule where I run accounts and then once account is done, I run orders, I think I'm pretty happy with that. The speed, like it should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal experience.
So you mean to say that parallel running of jobs is not, degrades the performance in Scribe?
Right. If you're running the jobs at the same time, like multiple maps together, definitely the performance will decrease. That I've seen it.
Mm-hmm. And how's the license structure?
License structure. So I mean, it's not that expensive. I mean, when I say it's not that expensive, I think I've been dealing with. I mean, the price change all the time. So I believe you have to buy. Let me double check. I think I have a document like that. Let me check real quick. Maybe I can share it with you guys. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Hey, Suresh, this is Prabhu. So you're saying about the performance issue with Scribe Insight, right?
Right.
What is the data source? Is it within the on-prem or different database? Or?
It's like simple. Even like SQL to SQL also, like it is slow, Prabhu.
Okay.
And not only like CRM, we were thinking that CRM will be slow. But when we compared Scribe Insight with SSIS and Kingsway Soft, it performs way better.
Okay.
But just recently, like as I've been telling, one issue we have noticed in Kingsway Soft, that is of duplicate records creation. So that that is kind of like one portion of it is fixed, but like still we are seeing some issues with that absurd functionality.
Okay. So are you using alternate key or what is your the primary key for Upsert?
Yeah, for Upsert, like we have a combination of fields.
Okay.
Like custom mapping we are selecting, like 2 or 3 fields we are combining, and based on that like Upsert is happening.
Okay.
But we
so you have to take care of any empty space, right? Since it's a combination of all those sort
like those 3 fields, Prabhu.
Right? Yeah.
Prabhu, those 3 fields are like mapped correctly, and our data is also proper. The good thing is like Kingsway, they accepted and they released 11.1 version wherein they fixed that absurd issue which I was talking about.
Okay.
So
it's an issue with the product.
Did you find?
I mean, I've heard good stuff about Kingsway. I mean, if somebody knows about Kingsway, I mean, it would be good to have a presentation about that because I've heard good stuff about them. Now, talking about Scribe, I mean, what type of connection are you using? Are you using the connector or are you going directly to SQL?
Adapter.
The adapter, using the adapter. All right.
Adapter.
Okay. I'm going directly to SQL. So I know with the adapter, there's some timing out issue. So maybe that's something that you might want to reach out to Scribe about. But as far as like going directly to SQL, I mean, I never really experienced that much, lag, like performance issue. But as far as like the licensing structure, I was looking for the document. I cannot find it, but that's something I can share with you at any time. I'll send it over to you guys.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, if anybody else have any questions, they can ask. Okay. Okay. So I'll take that opportunity. When you connect, when you connected online to online, or maybe cloud to cloud, and cloud to on-premise, what are the recommendation or suggestion that you give us when you are designing? Suppose if you are playing with a huge volume of data, then let's say an example like 10 million records, uh, you are handling on daily basis, kind of. So how do you suggest while designing using Scribe online?
Now, the question I have for you is those records that you're talking about, 10 million records, is like it's coming like from just one entity, or just like different set of record?
Different set of entities. I just gave you a volume, like any volume you can take. Like let's say maybe greater than 100,000 per entity. Let's say we have like five maps or 5 jobs we have, and 5 jobs are processing 500,000 records or greater than 100,000 records every day. So how do you suggest, like what are the precautions that we should take, or any problems that you noticed during your experience with Scribe Online?
Well, I mean, as I said, you're not supposed. I mean, my best practice is like, do not run everything at the same time. Do not run everything at the same time. Now, if you're trying to do like first of all, you have to do a one-time job before you put it on a schedule. So you have to run it on demand first. So if you're running the first map on demand, so run them one after another. So for me, that's the best practice. That's what I've always done, and that's what I'm gonna continue doing. So you run the first one, make sure it finished. You run the second one, make sure it finished. Third one. Now, if we're talking about like a few records, like 200 records, like 2,000 records, yeah, that's fine. You can run all at the same time. But when you're talking about like 100,000, a million records, so you might as well, take your time and then run everything one after another. And once you do everything on demand, now you can set some schedule for each map. You can schedule one, in the morning, one in the afternoon, another one at night. Basically you will know exactly how long it's gonna take for that map to finish running, because when it's running again, schedule, it's not gonna update all the fields on the record. It's not recommended. It should only update the change only. For example, if there's a field that was changed, that should be the field that should be updated, not the entire record. So basically, you need to set up the map like that so it knows only update that change field, not the entire record. And if you have it that way, you shouldn't experience an issue. But if you have it in a way where it's update the entire record, it create the entire record again, you're gonna run into some issues. You have to update them, not recreate them. Does that make sense?
Okay, got it. What I feel, Scribe Insight is good for like light processing. But if there is heavy data processing is there, then like I feel. I have not worked on Scribe Online, but Scribe Insight thing, it doesn't work that well. Performance and all those things.
Now, I have not used Scribe Insight. I'm not very familiar with that product. Maybe Scribe Online is a little bit different than that. But another thing that I didn't mention, they just purchased Scribe. I think they purchased Scribe 2 years ago, or a year ago. There's another company called TIBCO. So basically, TIBCO is the company the owner of Scribe right now. So I don't know if they're working on their own products or if they're gonna retire Scribe Online. But so again,
I think you said it a reverse way. When I was talking to the Scribe, one of the salesperson there, like account manager for one of our client. So there, what he mentioned is the new enhancement or new features they are going to have that in Scribe Online only. And whereas Scribe Insight, they will continue whatever is existing, but all the major enhancement or everything will go in Scribe Online.
Okay.
That's what like he told me. But okay, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. Any more questions? Again, this one was just, obviously I didn't really go into details. There's a lot of other things to it. So it's just like a quick overview about, Scribe, having a better understanding. For example, if someone really wanted to, try the product and do an integration between Scribe and their Dynamics 365, between their ERP system and Dynamics 365 using Scribe, they can at least take a look at it and test the product. And Scribe, you can actually try Scribe they have a 1 month trial or 2 months trial for free. So you can actually log into their website and pretty much use the system for 2 months at least, or 1 month, I don't remember, and then you can have access to all the features. So that way you understand exactly how it works, if that's something that's going to work for you and your organization, and you can take advantage of it. And they also have free training. You can go to the website, there's the basic training for free along with your free account, so you can pretty much use it and see if that's something that will work for you. But I've been using it for the past few years now, and then I've been happy with it without any problem. So and that's why I decided to share so far my experience with it. So
thank you.
Are there any more questions? All right. Thank you so much, Bruny. We really appreciate your time and the knowledge.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, everyone, for joining the session.
All right. Bye.
Yeah. Good night.